Elementary music teacher friend, you love what you do, but you might feel unappreciated and, in fact, unseen some days. You may even feel like you're on a music teacher island and just want to connect with other music teachers who can relate to both your struggles and wins when it comes to teaching elementary music. I get you and understand completely the feelings you're having. That's why each and every week, the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast will provide you with solo and guest episodes that will help you realize you're not alone in your music teaching journey. Throughout each episode, my goal is for you to be able to walk away with actionable steps and ideas to help you feel like you're ready to take on the new week with whatever challenges may be thrown your way. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Peresta, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're at home, in your car, in the shower, or wherever else you're listening, grab your cup of coffee or whatever other beverage is nearby and listen in to the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. We are in mid-February. So crazy to say that. I hope you had a great Valentine's Day, however you celebrate that. I don't know. I've always kind of just been about Valentine's Day. I am married, but neither of us have really ever cared. I don't know. It becomes more fun when you have kids. And as a teacher, it's so fun seeing them exchange Valentines and things like that. But anywho, this episode is just a little bit more personal. It is why I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. And so I wanted to record this because a couple different reasons. I've been asked, and actually I've done some business coaching. If you're interested in that, just shoot me an email and let me know. Jessica@thedomesticmusician.com. But I have talked about this in business coaching. I have been emailed and asked questions about just online business and things like that. And one of the first things I do when I am coaching business clients is let them know that I never realized how vulnerable you have to be when you run a business. I'm sure it's for in-person business owners as well, but online business, I didn't realize how I knew I wouldn't be for everyone. I never was trying to be for everyone, but I didn't realize how the keyboard warriors is what I call them come out at full force. And you have to kind of grow some thick skin. So, I mean, look at social media. I don't know if you're anything like me, but on Instagram or TikTok, when it's still around for right now. Anyways, I love looking at the comment section. I just think sometimes they're hysterical. But every once in a while, you come across this comment that has nothing to do with the content creator's video or post or whatever it might be. It's just someone attacking them and their character and who they are. And I'm like, this is terrible. Blogs back in the day when I first started my business in 2016, blogs, you can still leave comments on blogs, but a lot of times that was a bigger deal then. And so I would have comments on my blog, but also leave comments on blogs. And I remember seeing all these negative comments on certain blogs, even about recipes or things like that. And I'm like, what is going on? And now when people email you or send you a direct message, sometimes it's positive, and every once in a while you get that one that just stops you in your tracks. You're like, whoa. And so this, can apply to you, obviously, as a teacher too. This goes back to, I've recorded so many episodes about being positive and all this kind of stuff, but did an episode recently about, dealing with negative coworkers, but also how it's okay that every student doesn't like music, and we try to impress them and make sure everybody likes our classroom, and we're constantly trying to appease all the teachers and make them like us and don't want to step on any toes. But when you're an online business owner, if you've ever thought, and maybe you have a TPT store, maybe you have sold some products somewhere, maybe, I don't know what it might be, but you have gotten even one hateful email and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? And as my business has grown over the past 8.5 years, I have gotten, I wouldn't say it's a lot, but it has been an uptick of lots of thank you for helping me. This was so helpful. I just started teaching music. I'm really glad I found you. I love to refer people to other people. I'm like, oh, you really need to reach out to Ann Molesky or whoever it might be because they have resources and things they are experts in that I don't consider myself an expert in. So I am all about sharing the wealth and not ever just saying I am the go-to expert for music education. But so starting an online business, it makes you vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. You are, I mean, a voice, right, on a podcast, right? I'm a face on social media. Now, I'm not hanging on social media as much as I used to be, but I used to do a lot of videos on, I didn't really even have YouTube very much, but I did a lot of Facebook Lives and things like that. And I would sometimes have these random robots, I guess, bots commenting. And I think it's funny sometimes when I've hosted workshops, bots appear and all of a sudden you can tell because it's like, what is this? But anyways, so it just makes you feel vulnerable. But I have gotten comments like, who is she to insert the blank? Or there's so many other options out there. Why would you listen to Jessica? I actually recently was just, I don't even know what I was searching for, but found this rogue comment on a forum about, oh, she's not expert enough. I looked at her website and she has no experience. And I'm like, what? Yes, I do. So I wanted to comment so bad and be like, okay, here's my experience and all these, but I didn't. I didn't. I let it go because it's okay. People are entitled to their opinion. But I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. And I've gotten to the point where, I mean, gosh, I hope so by now in 8.5 years, where I have developed a thick skin and I have to realize that I'm not going to be for everybody. I'm for the people who need me. And going back to my origin stories of my business 8.5 years ago, came out of my heart to help music teachers where I didn't have a music teacher. I didn't have a mentor teacher starting out. I didn't have resources starting out. I had no one to go to and ask questions. I didn't have a community to lean on. I didn't know anyone else in my district. I eventually got to know these people. But I mean, I felt lonely. The only one in my school building. I didn't know who to go to ask questions from. And now I see that shifted a lot. I see that there is so much support on social media for music teachers. There's a community out there that you can rely on. I see, even in my own community, music teachers that have PLCs with music teachers from other buildings. And I just think it's amazing. But I also know that there is still an audience out there. There is still you listening who either you're a brand new teacher, you've been teaching years and years and years, and you've either been with me from day one where my podcast was awkward and I didn't know what I was doing, or you've just found me and you're like, I just need a mentor. I need someone to just be a voice at the end of my long day to just give me some hope and give me some clarity and help me navigate through the waters of this teaching elementary music thing. So, although I'm not for everyone, I am for the people who need me. And those of you who show up and listen to me week in and week out, or maybe you don't hit every episode, and that's okay. I don't. My favorite podcast, I don't listen to every episode either, but I'll go back when I can. But my goal, it has been from day one, is to serve music teachers who need help and support. There are plenty of other podcasts, music teacher books, membership sites, whatever else out there. And I think it's all needed. It's all amazing. I think we can all have a voice. And I, like I said, will refer others to others. I did a whole podcast episode about other podcasts on my podcast. So I love sharing the wealth. I think it's important. But what I do offer in my membership site is done for you lesson plans. They're editable for the entire school year. They aren't just a website that just says, here, choose some lesson plans. And you're like, well, that's great, but I still don't know where in the school year to teach this. It basically shows you a framework of how to plan. I have teachers that gone through my membership site who say, I don't necessarily use all the songs and activities you suggest, but I see what you're trying to do here, and I have something else I can plug and pull and put in there instead. I also offer a way for you to add your own standards, assessments, and song and activity choices in my membership site, my Harmony membership. I offer plenty of videos where I mentor and talk about the tough issues. I provide a roadmap for you to identify where you're at, and you can follow the success stage with action steps needed to move forward. It took me forever to create my membership site because it wasn't just like, I'm going to create a membership site. In fact, some of you may have that have been with me from the beginning. I used to have another membership site, and it was one where I wouldn't say it was pure crap, but it was literally like, come and hang out. There wasn't any thought behind it. So I invested in a training to truly teach me how to create a membership site that is quality, like nothing else out there, that is me using my unique voice and my experience, and created it with you in mind. And so it took months and months and months and feedback from music teachers who came in as beta testers and all the things to get it to what it is now. So when I see comments like, oh, well, there's other things out there, there are. And great, use those. I don't want you to not use things. I think it's important to see what's out there and to use it. And I also think it's important that I'm never going to hold music teachers hostage. If you come and try my membership site and you're like, she's not my cup of tea, this isn't what I thought it was, I'm going to move on to the next. That's fine with me too. I just want to serve who I need to serve. The same thing with my course. I created a curriculum design roadmap course because I know from my experience, which I shared on a previous episode not too long ago, that I didn't know what the heck I was doing when it came to designing curriculum. And over the years, I was never, ever intending to create a course. I was just going to have my membership site going and go and, stick with that. But I have been asked about designing a curriculum, or how do I figure out what to teach when, and when in the year do I plug in this standard over and over and over. So I was like, I got to put something out there that helps music teachers with these ideas. Because when I looked, there wasn't anything out there online anyways. So that's where my course came into play. I created it to help music teachers, whether you have no resources or you have a lot, but knowing how to use what you have and to plan around that and to plan a full curriculum for your students for the entire school year. And so that's where that came from. So every idea I put out there, this podcast, which is a free resource for you, my blog on my website, which is a free resource for you, I've offered free workshops and challenges and all kinds of stuff, because I think it's important to offer free, but also some paid options where you can dive in deeper with me for those of you who need it. I love each and every one of you who have listened and come in, and just like you feel like you're connecting with me, I really do feel like I'm connecting with you. I read every comment. I read every email. I'm not always good about responding, but I do try. I had an email a couple weeks ago that said, you may not read this, but whoever that was, I want you to know I did read it, and now I need to remember to reply to you, but I do read it. I promise. I think it's important to connect with you. I really, truly do. And so if I'm for you, then wonderful. But I have said from day one, I've told my husband that if I ever feel like I am not serving music teachers the way I am intending to, or the way I started out doing when I felt called to start this business, if I feel like God has given me a stop sign and ready to move on to something else, which I am doing a million other jobs, those of you listening in know that, but I've never once felt like I was supposed to stop this completely. I feel like I have pivoted a little bit. I'm not in my business as full time as I used to be, but I feel like it still needs to be here for music teachers who need my voice, who need my resources, who need my mentorship. So if that's you, you're my people. I appreciate you listening to this. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate you just going in and to the trenches every day and teaching music to your students. And I am so grateful to serve you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So this episode was a little bit different and kind of random, but it was just came from my heart, something I wanted to share. And I hope that you resonate with it in one way or another. I'll see you next week. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening into the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. There is an exclusive Facebook group just for listeners of this podcast and any elementary music teacher called the Elementary Music Teacher Community Facebook group. Come on over and join us there, where we have conversations around the podcast episodes and encourage each other each and every week. And also head to my website, thedomesticmusician.com. I have some free resources there that you can download to help you gain traction in your classroom today
Calendly, as well as the blog and the membership site and all kinds of other goodies to help you keep going in your music teaching journey. I cannot wait to keep connecting with you and encouraging you and spurring you on in your journey of teaching elementary music. Hang in there, have an amazing week, and I will see you soon.